Hi everyone, I'm going to start the introduction while everybody's joining, and then I will start the actual presentation of the PowerPoint, the screen share. So my name is Mayan, I'm the founder and CEO of German Kitchen Center. This is a presentation about European kitchens in the US, somewhat of a comparison of European product versus American product. Short story about my story with European product. So before I started German Kitchen Center in 2011, I was a local remodeling contractor. We had full service remodeling company in New York City, and at the time we were selling strictly American manufacturers, every kind of American manufacturer you can imagine, any price point. And our pitch was that it doesn't really make sense to sell European cabinetry. And I used to teach the salespeople how to pitch against European kitchens. And my pitch was, it's not a Mercedes, it's not even a Miele dishwasher. There's not that much technology behind it. All it is, cabinetry is just a box with a front, and European hardware you can get any kind of European hardware in the US. So as far as patriotism, bringing manufacturing back, why would you buy European kitchens made in Europe, ship air, which is expensive, because the established European manufacturers, they come assembled, so you're shipping them in containers in air, and the price is high to begin with. So what's the logic behind it? You can make it in the US. Everything changed for me back in, I said 2011 is when I started. 2010 is actually when I placed the first order for a Leicht kitchen. Leicht, you may know it because it's quite established in Seattle. It's the premium German kitchen brand. And like I said, when we placed the first order back in 2010, it opened my eyes and it completely changed my understanding of why European kitchen manufacturers do make sense. And what happened in that first order, the beginning of this journey that I'm going to be sharing with you today, is Leicht simply asked us about the appliance specifications. And until that day, my logic of ordering kitchens were, you send an order to the factory, they make it. A list of parts, a list of cabinets, whatever you send, they make it. If it comes and it all works out, great. If it doesn't, it's your problem. It's a very clear relationship between the manufacturer and the dealer. They don't really want to be involved and have anything to do with how the kitchen works. With Leicht, as well as most of the other good European manufacturers, their whole approach to this industry is different. And that's why they asked us for the appliance specifications, because they want to know and make sure that every single owner of a Leicht kitchen is happy for life. And that's just one example, which is symbolic of the different approach to manufacturing, different culture of manufacturing. One more short story that I will share with you that kind of gets across the point of why these manufacturers are different. They're operating more like the car brands. What I mean by that, if you ever, once we get through with this pandemic and you can go back to traveling to Europe, and you can be in Central Europe in Germany in September, very highly recommended to attend the open house show in Germany. That's where most of the German kitchen manufacturers have their plants, their factory showrooms. They open it to the trade, and you go there and you see next year's collection. So what that means is they have a very big commitment to innovation. They all must have a R&D, research and development department. They need to design new products. They work with the hardware manufacturers to show all the latest and greatest. And every year, so for instance, now we're in October, last month in September, the 021 collection by Leicht was launched, and everybody's talking about it. They have some great things. It's all over Instagram. But the point is, it's a different culture and different approach and different commitment to innovation, because again, no offense, we do sell American product. We sell product from all over the world, but the American kitchen manufacturer industry does not have that. You may, if you're familiar with some American manufacturers, In the Pacific Northwest, there's a known semi-custom manufacturer, for instance, Canyon Creek, which I used to sell a lot. They don't really have next year's collection or commitment to innovation. The rep may say, hey, we came out with this new finish or new door style. But again, it's just a completely different approach, different kind of product. And specifically German manufacturing, just like German cars, the same with German kitchens. They make the most consistently high quality, superior product. One last thing, or maybe two last things before I start my screen share here, that I would like to share with you as interior designers there in the Seattle area. We have something very cool that we started, which is called the sub-dealer program. And if you're interested, you can contact me directly, or you can contact Michelle, our design manager there in the showroom at German Kitchen Center. What that means is the following. You are working hard and you're very involved in pretty much every aspect of the cabinetry, but yet you don't have the opportunity to make a nice profit because you go to a kitchen dealer, which usually means someone that has a kitchen showroom, and the kitchen dealer is the entity that buys directly from the factory. So the way the kitchen industry is set up, the manufacturers sell dealers, dealers then resell it, and the dealer is the entity that makes most of the margin. They may or may not kick back a referral fee, a few points, and maybe you can make a few dollars that way. But unless you're a kitchen dealer, which means you have a substantial investment in showroom, kitchen designers, kitchen design software, know-how, et cetera, you don't really get to enjoy the profit margins available in cabinetry. With the sub-dealer program, we are making it available to you. You can buy at factory direct pricing and resell and make very nice margins, which you deserve because you're doing all the work. You have the client, you have the relationship. The reason that we're able to do that, and as far as I know, no other company can do that, is because we have a lot of designers nationwide. We have a lot of resources, so we can support you with the design, with the ordering, with technical. So sub-dealer program is a very cool thing. And one last thing I want to share with you before I start the screen share is, the kitchen is the heart of the home, is the heart of our life, is the single biggest impact to our quality of life because especially in colder climates, we spend more time in and around the kitchen area than anywhere else. And that's been going on for a few decades, where kitchen is the most important part of the home. But now with COVID, it actually just got even bigger because people are home more. They're forced to use the kitchen, even people that were going out more. A lot of people are just home staring at the kitchen. So there's a very big demand for kitchens. We're already noticing that. So with these couple words of inspiration that I want to share with you, I'm going to start my screen share here. So we do have AIA CEU program. If anybody needs a CEU point, let me know and we can certify you for CEU point. This is not our official certification PowerPoint. The other one with the CEU is a bit more technical. I made this kind of very light and informal, and I'm more than happy always to take any questions or any comments in the end. And this is what I'm going to cover here, is that what products, styles, finishes, and innovations exist today in European kitchens. So first thing, talking practicality, you're all dealing with sales and projects. We know that everything is all about the budget. So just like all good things, we separated it into 3 budget levels. With budget category means our RTA, like IKEA, ready to assemble typically. And I believe that the biggest opportunity is right here with premium, because there are a handful of Italian and German international brands that have a brand following. Of course, you're paying for the brand. However, there are a lot of other manufacturers from Europe that have a comparable product, sometimes even with more gadgetry and innovation, bells and whistles. But because they don't have the brand name recognition for a similar product, it could be 20, 30%, sometimes as much as 40% less. We're just experiencing Leicht in the last few years going from a premium brand to an established brand, but luckily for us, Leicht as a manufacturer wants to stay in the premium level as far as pricing, which is amazing for us. Same condition exists in appliances, and maybe in appliances it's even more important because there isn't too much brand name recognition actually in cabinetry, and most homeowners, they buy the appliances first. They give value to the appliances. Even if you see in real estate listings, you see Sub-Zero Wolf appliances, there's more value given to the brand name in appliances. So of course, the top brand in the US is Sub-Zero Wolf. The Germans, I would argue, make better machines. So Miele and Gaggenau are the top German manufacturers. But there are a lot of premium brands. Again, what that means is manufacturers that make a great product, but do not have the brand name recognition. So my default recommendation in this category would be Decor, a great American manufacturer out of Orange County, a lot of power. They're owned by Samsung. So their refrigerator, I actually have it in my own Leicht kitchen at home, is a better machine without a doubt than Sub-Zero. But it's a lot less, 20 to 30% less, because they don't have the brand name recognition. So if you ever find the opportunity where you have a client that doesn't care that much about the brand, they care about quality, go for a premium brand, and you can help your client save quite a bit and make it work within the budget. There are also value premium brands in the world of European kitchens. And I don't mean white good freestanding appliances. They still have the stainless steel or panel ready machines, and they're still built in. So Bosch, I think, is the best one out of Germany, and Fisher & Paykel is also an option out of New Zealand. A few words about what's going on in the world of countertops. So as you probably know, especially in the big metropolitan areas in the US, natural stone has been phasing out. Man-made products are coming in and are taking over the market, starting with about 15 years ago with quartz. And the big player out of Israel that came first was Caesar Stone. And another very big player is Silestone by Cosentino. They're the two market leaders, although today there are hundreds of man-made countertop products out there. But again, Caesar Stone and Silestone are the largest and most established. And now the current trend is porcelain instead of quartz. So the Silestone porcelain brand is called Decton. Great product, and we love it. There are several. Neolith is another great one. Caesar Stone, for several years, did not have a porcelain product, and they've been kind of behind in that sense. But about a month ago, they acquired a porcelain manufacturer out of India. So now Caesar Stone is also making porcelain. What's going on in the world of these man-made stones is that the projects, the jobs, every day are getting a lot more elaborate, a lot more intricate. This is very typical, full height backsplashes. These islands are typical, where side panel used to be only side panel, what we call waterfall. Now we're seeing the back panel, so it makes it look like one big chunk of stone. We're also seeing the sinks, the inside of the sinks being specified out of stones. And we're seeing the projects spilling over where we're paneling entire walls adjacent to the kitchen, other rooms, entire bathroom walls, bathroom floors. So the projects are getting bigger and bigger. And one more detail in terms of the trend. So, we're making man-made things look more real. So as it relates to the countertop world, these man-made quartz and porcelain products, they look like stone. And more specifically, it's in the detailing, in the veining. And a few years ago, you can tell. Now, it's almost impossible to tell because we're making the veining look deeper, look so real, to the point that it's almost impossible to say if it's man-made or not. So it's all about the veining. And I chose to share this photo with you of Cindy Crawford because I think it tells a story of what's going on in the kitchen and countertop world. She made a deal with Cosentino. She's now the face, the brand ambassador of Cosentino Silestone. So I think it kind of shows how big kitchens and countertops, and specifically Silestone, has become. Our job as GKC is to prove to you and your clients that it's all about the cabinetry. Because what happens with cabinetry, quite often people just think that it's just a placeholder between appliances It's just functional storage. It doesn't really make a difference. And too often I see that, especially in the big projects, there's not enough budget given to the cabinetry. So a lot of people think that it doesn't really matter. So again, our whole job is just to prove to you that it's all about the cabinetry, and that's why I chose these two photos. This you may recognize. It's actually the reverse of my Zoom backdrop here, but it shows you that a high-level European kitchen, nice design, will make the space. In this case, it's not only just the kitchen space; it's the entire home, and then one cabinet can also make the space. And that's why I chose to share with you the slide away cabinet, especially in a smaller kitchen, maybe apartment size kitchen. You can take one cabinet and make it up to date with the latest innovation and really transform the space. So this would normally be a tall pantry cabinet, maybe adjustable shelves, maybe a couple of slide aways. With you switching over to the slide away door, you're creating it like a wow factor, a gadget, and it's very functional. You know, these doors slide away. I'll show you some more examples later, but again, this is just to prove the point that cabinetry can really transform the space. This is also a very, very big feature of European cabinetry. The organizers, most of the people that purchase European kitchens are very much into clutter-free look, making everything nice and organized. Obviously in the drawers, the cutlery dividers, that's been going on for a while, but now we're seeing it everywhere, even in, of course, in tall cabinets, base cabinets, but even in wall cabinets. So for instance, this unit, which is called Interior Plus, it swivels out, very nice aluminum. It even has these things are accessories which come with it. So this is what we call a midway unit. It sits on the countertop and it goes up to the top of the wall cabinets, but this is available even in wall cabinets. So the whole interior organizer thing is humongous. So the goal of this short presentation is just to make you more familiar with European kitchens so that hopefully you can feel comfortable talking with your clients about it. And maybe you can also take advantage of what I mentioned in the beginning, the sub-dealer program, so that you can sell European kitchens and then you can make a profit. So where can you get European kitchens in the US? First question. So IKEA is actually the largest supplier of kitchens in America. And that's largest supplier period, not just of European kitchens. The challenge with the IKEA model, the advantage and disadvantage, because they have to keep everything in stock, which is amazing, everything is available, but the stock is quite limited. So you're limited with design options. The other thing is it's an RTA model ready to assemble. So a cabinet box can never be as straight and as strong assembled in your home as it would be made in a state-of-the-art factory somewhere in Europe. And number two, kitchen bathroom dealers. This is where most of the kitchens are purchased in America, what we call the mom and pop shop, owner operated kitchen showrooms. Most of the kitchen industry is owned by these smaller, usually single owner, single showroom, single owner operated showroom. Maybe sometimes they have 2 or 3 showrooms, but it's very regional, very small. And typically these kitchen bath showroom dealers would have a variety of American lines, various price points, various styles. And now, because of market demand, they might be adding a European line, typically Italian, maybe 1 or 2 vignettes. The challenge with this model is you really want to deal with companies that specialize because you need a lot of resources, a lot of focus to deal directly with the factories, logistics, importing, containers, etc. So if these kitchen and bath showrooms just do it here and there, it's not as good as the specialized manufacturers. This is the more typical way of how you're going to see European kitchen showrooms in your city or any big city in America. So these brands, for instance, they actually own and operate their own showrooms in the big cities. Probably in Seattle, it's dealers. The second or third tier cities would be dealerships. And it's a great model, beautiful showrooms. It works. The challenge with this model is when you're limited to a single line, you can only offer what that line has to offer, whatever price point they have and whatever style. If you want something else, you know, they usually don't have that to offer. This is a list of some of the most established European manufacturers operating in the US. So the top Italian brands are Buffy and Val Cucine. The known value premium Italian brands are Scavolini and Pedini. I know Pedini does exist in Seattle. I know the owner Paul there. The known German ones, Botap is the top brand. It's like the Rolls Royce of kitchen brands. Pogenpol is the most well-known kitchen brand in the world since the 1800s. But they just went into Chapter 11 a few months ago. Simatic, very active in the US. I know you have a Simatic showroom in the city there in Seattle. The challenge with Simatic is they hit some hard times 2 years ago, so they're now actually owned by Asians. Leicht is our premium brand, and then there are value premium German manufacturers. You may have heard of Bauformat. We have our own value premium line. There are other countries in Europe that make great kitchens, not only Germany and Italy, although I would say 99% of the market for European kitchens in the US are made in Germany or Italy. The Scandinavians are great, but they are absolutely not active in the US. In Great Britain, there are a few manufacturers, but it's a different kind of product. It's not exactly like the industrialized manufacturing. I'll touch on that for a second later. And then Spain has a couple manufacturers. The most well-known one is, of course, Porcelanosa. Porcelanosa might be the greatest tile company in the world. They're not really a kitchen company. They bought a manufacturer called Gamma Decor. So now they are offering kitchens using their tile brand. You can, in theory, you can get a Euro style kitchen also made in the US. Basically what it would mean is frameless box, flat door, slab door is the right term in American kitchens. But it doesn't have all the features of the European manufacturers. Kind of a mystery why European style or European level manufacturing has not come to the US. I think it is coming, but it's not here yet. Asians, of course, very active in the US. They have reached $1 billion of market share, which is humongous. It's a RTA, ready to assemble model, where they ship container loads of product to a distribution center near you. That's why they're so competitive with lead times. It's Euro style. Obviously, it's not really comparable to Italians and Germans. The closest that I've seen are actually Canadian manufacturers. There are some very nice products out of Canada. I think it's because they use the metric system, you know, the European, French, Canadian influence. Nice product, but still not really comparable with the Italians and the Germans. This is a very cool chart that, of course, we love to show because Leicht is doing so well here. What it means, it's all the known German brands. Percentage of the premium kitchen market. Premium, they define in Western Europe as 20,000 euros or more for the cabinetry. And this is a percentage of that premium market. Amazingly, Leicht always keeps growing year to year. They're going to grow in 020, 021 because they opened their own factory. And now finishes. This might be the best part of the presentation. So what I did here is I categorized the finishes into different kinds of categories, starting with the high gloss lacquer, because that's what the Europeans are most known for. Americans, for some reason, US manufacturing, there's something called a painted finish, which is 1 or 2 coats of paint on top of a wood grain, usually see-through to the wood grain. Lacquer is not really so established in America. You may be dealing with a custom cabinet manufacturer. Maybe they have a spray booth. They can do lacquer, but it's not really comparable to the lacquer manufacturers from Europe that are located in northern Italy, mainly. So high gloss lacquer, it's what we call the car finish or the piano finish. It's a very thick and strong coating. It takes 3 weeks to do a real high gloss lacquer coat, equivalent to 18 coats. You have to hand buff between each coat. It's amazing. It's great. It's also pricey. And of course, things change, trends change. So the trend now is more to go for the matte lacquer or silk lacquer. That's just a matter of style is the reason, you know, why trends change. But I think there are 2 practical reasons why people are kind of phasing out of high gloss lacquer. One, you see the reflection of this chair. So it shows a lot of light. It reflects a lot of light. And the other reason is the fingerprint. So it shows fingerprints. So those, in my opinion, are 2 practical reasons why the trend is going to more matte lacquers. So obviously we're looking at matte lacquer here. And then I mentioned silk lacquer or satin, maybe kind of like the Benjamin Moore eggshell. It's a sheen between matte and high gloss. And that happens to be the most popular finish, period, worldwide. That silk lacquer is very, very nice. I'll show you a couple more examples later. Laminates are the biggest category and the most important category of finishes. And the reason for that is one, they're less expensive, which is already a very good reason. Two, they're more durable. So it's a very rare case where cheaper is actually better. So yes, laminates are more durable than laminates. And another thing is the technology. So remember I said when I was talking about countertops that we're making the man-made things look more real. This condition and this thing is really very, very big with laminates, especially the wood grain laminates. Because of technology, every year we're making them, the manufacturers of laminates are making them look and feel more and more real. This actually has a real wood texture. So when you're holding it in your hand, it's really tough to tell that it's a laminate versus a veneer. The other thing with technology is something called laser edge. What that means is you see this seam right here, which is the seam between the edge and the front. When you're analyzing a door, you're holding it in your hand, you should always look at this seam, because this seam, I believe, is what gave laminates the bad reputation. You probably have all seen the white high gloss or almond high gloss laminate, you know, the Formica, starting from the 70s and 80s. And there was always a very apparent black or brown seam right here. Sometimes the edge would be peeling and it would look horrible, but it really would give away the laminate thing instantly. And it just did not look nice. Now, with laser edge technology, we're hiding that seam. It's really amazing. And that opens up the opportunity to have alternatives to lacquers also in laminate, because could be as much as 40% less going with any kind of sheen, matte, satin, or high gloss in a laminate. And again, it's more durable, it's less expensive. You're not really compromising on anything else because it's only the front. And it's an amazing, amazing value engineering option. Again, especially because of that laser edge technology, which is hiding the seam so people can't really tell the difference. And there are alternatives to other expensive finishes also in laminates. Glass, very, very cool, very big. And I'm not talking about the typical American clear glass or frosted glass. This is back lacquered glass. That's why I purposely wanted to show a blue so you can understand that you can get it any color. It's every single all glass kitchen that we've done is completely fabulous and people love it. Some people are afraid of it because they're afraid, you know, what happens if it'll break. So it is safe. I've seen a couple of glass doors break. It breaks inside, it's tempered glass. And now with technology, we can do an all glass kitchen with side panels, the top countertop, same material, and even appliance panels. So it is very cool. You can do an all glass finish. A lot of times we do just a couple of cabinets, just maybe wall cabinets is an highlight, maybe an island, because of the cost, because people are afraid of glass. But we have had several cases where we do it all glass and it's amazing. This is a kind of a new finish category. I call it applied finishes. Came out 4 years ago by Leish. Now I think other manufacturers have it as well. It's troweled on to an MDF, hand troweled on concrete. So it looks and feels like it's handmade because it is. And it's very cool. And we do a lot of these kitchens combined with wood tone, with white. It always looks very, very nice. Again, laminates, referring back to laminates, there is a fabulous alternative to the real concrete in laminates, substantially less expensive, probably more durable as well. When Leish came out with it, they thought it would just be a niche, you know, who's going to buy a concrete kitchen? This, I would say, has been the biggest hit in terms of new finishes in the last few years. It really took off. We do a lot of concrete kitchens. And because of that, because of demand, Leish added, now they have 4 different colors in concrete and 3 different colors in the stone finish, which is the same applied finish kind of category. There is another great category of finishes, which I don't have in the presentation, but I'm going to talk about it. I would call it cladded finishes. What that is, it's natural stone or man-made stone that is paneled. So you actually attach a thin piece, sometimes not that thin, but not that thin makes it a little bit heavy. So usually it's better to make it thin to the front. So stone fronts, basically. That's if you haven't seen it yet, be ready because it's coming big time. Based on what I said in the very beginning, the 021 collection, it's full of cladded stone finishes and also laminate alternative that looks just like stone. That is where the trend is going right now, is the cladded stone finishes. I really should add it to this presentation. Metal and aluminum still exists. You probably know that stainless steel has been going in and out of style the last 50, 60 years. Aluminum is great, but it's expensive. Again, the laminates, 2 years ago, they came out with stainless steel laminate finish. So it looks and feels like stainless steel. I could not tell the difference apart, and stainless steel actually scratches. So it's unbelievable, but the laminate is once again more durable, obviously a lot less expensive. So they do have a stainless steel option with laminates, which you should check out if you ever have a need for that. Wood veneer in Europe, because of everything that I just said, wood veneer is hardly purchased, because average, very practical, very logical, educated European consumer thinks, why should I pay more? Because wood veneer is a lot more expensive than the wood grain laminate for a finish that is actually more fragile. So again, wood veneer is more fragile. So it really doesn't make sense. It makes more sense to go for the wood grain laminate. But in the US, people love wood. I know Pacific Northwest is all about wood. So our wood is very important, even though wood veneer is only like a top, maybe 1 millimeter layer. Everything else is engineered substrates. So we still do a lot of wood. We do a lot of oak, a lot of walnut. We just completed delivering an entire building in San Francisco in all walnut veneer. So veneer is still very, very, very big. And of course, veneer is not solid wood. Sometimes people are just not aware of it, and they mistake a slab door that it's solid wood. It's not. It's only veneer. There aren't too many established manufacturers that can handle solid wood. Maybe you've come across it there in high-end projects in the Pacific Northwest. Usually it would be custom cabinet makers. Humongous risk, because it might warp with the changes in humidity, and it's a very tough and very expensive material to work with. We actually have a manufacturer, it's called Team 7 out of Austria, that is an international brand. They specialize in solid wood. They grow their own trees in their own forest. Fabulous process, fabulous company. Very, very green, no chemicals, no finishes, no polyurethanes, lacquers, laminates, everything natural solid wood with an oil finish. They also make furniture. Definitely, you're more than welcome to check it out in our showroom there in the design center. So we do have that option, but again, I put it here just to make that distinction so that you will realize that solid wood and wood veneer are two completely different things. Handle-less systems. This is a very important educational slide, I believe, because what happens in the world of European kitchens, 90% or more of the people that want European kitchens, they want a modern style. I'm sorry, 90% or more of the people that want modern European kitchens, they want a handle-less system. So that's why it's important that you will realize what handle-less means. So the educational part here is that only these three, the top row here of photos are true handle-less kitchens. These are not. They look like it, but they're not. And I'm going to explain to you why now. So a handle-less system in our world means that there's one continuous aluminum grip rail from one end of the run, from here to here. Same thing here, of course, and here. It could be lacquered to match or not. Could be a J channel, like in these two examples. Could be a C channel. And those are true handle-less kitchens. A lot of times you have requirement for handle-less. You go to your custom cabinet guy, he says, okay, here you go, handle-less, or this handle-less. It looks like it, but what this really is, this is not a handle-less kitchen. This is a kitchen with a handle, but instead of the handle being drilled from the front, it's grooved into the top here. Why is this such a big deal? Or in this case, it's formed into the top of the drawer or the door. Why we're making such a big deal out of it? The people that want this look, they like the clean, laser sharp, continuous, perfect kind of look. And what happens is that the buildings settle, everything moves with the moisture content in the air, and then eventually this is going to be the cabinets will separate, maybe 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, but your client might be very upset that they don't have this look anymore. Things are moving around a little bit, and that's why a handleless system and understanding that you need to have a continuous grip rail is so important. There's another way to do a handleless system, which is with a touch opening. It looks, my PowerPoint, oh, it looks like this. This would be how the drawers look. Of course, the doors would have a spring touch latch mechanism. And once again, advances, innovation in hardware systems. It used to be for years and years that if you want to do such a system, you need to choose either electric or manual. And both had a lot of issues with them. Now, because the manual system, the hardware got so good, it functions just as well and maybe even better than the electric system. So you don't have a need for the electric anymore. The manual system is just as good. It opens great. It's almost impossible, you know, if you're looking at one of those new advanced handleless systems, to tell that it's not electric. But then you don't have to wire, you don't have to worry about power outages or the sensors not lining up, and the manual system works fabulously well. Again, all about innovation in hardware systems. This is actually a slide showcasing modern style kitchens. So different styles, of course, modern, traditional, and transitional. So to oversimplify what modern style is for us, it's usually a flat door and could be with or without handles. You see another handleless system option. You can see that you can go vertical with the handleless, with handles, without, different kinds of finishes. But to simplify it, flat door is modern. Transitional is a very, very important, very big style for us because, first of all, a lot of people are afraid of modern. They're afraid of resale of the neighborhood. They would say, my home is traditional, so I'm afraid of going modern. Some people say we want modern, but we're afraid to make it too cold, too sleek. So what we do is we dress it up with a traditional, or in this case, transitional front. Oversimplifying what transitional is, usually it's a shaker style. So here you see the typical square shaker. You can add a little rail to the outside or molding to the inside to change the door style. These are all examples of that silk lacquer I was referring to. Great finish, you can get it any color. But again, transitional is very, very important to us. And I'm also going to make what I believe is an important point here about modern. In my view, modern is not only a style, it's also the technology. So, you know, we talk a lot in car brands, you know, the German premium luxury brand, Mercedes, BMW, Audi. In this case, I came up with an interesting example from the American car manufacturing industry, which is, you know, the muscle cars from the 1960s. So now, starting, I guess, about 10, 15 years ago, we have muscle cars that are brand new. You know, the Mustang, the Dodge, the Ford, the Charger, they have an old looking body, but in an all new 021 model. So you can do the same thing with kitchens. You can get an all new Leicht kitchen with a traditional front, you know, just like you see the accessories, the glass sides, all the bells and whistles, all the features of a modern kitchen, but have a traditional or transitional look. This is completely different when you go into the real traditional New England style kitchens. I don't know what exactly the current demand is in the Pacific Northwest, and if you have a lot of demand for real traditional, of course we have more of it in New England and in the South, but this is a real traditional American kitchen. It's handmade. It has all the features, you know, the mullion doors, the moldings, inset doors. This is a painted finish, or they have in this category also the glaze finishes, the hatch, the hoods, the crown molding, all those details that make a real traditional American kitchen. This happens to be what we call bespoke English furniture. Remember I said Great Britain is has some great manufacturers, and I'll touch on that, but it's different from the industrialized Italian and German manufacturers. So the bespoke English furniture is, if you heard of brands in the US called Christopher Peacock, Clive Christian, Small Bones, those are the known brands. Our partner in this category is called Charles York. Bespoke means you dream it, we build it. You can really customize it, unlimited, even to the point of this logo here. You can make it your own logo, the family emblem, whatever you want. They also make furniture. So if you have a need for this and you want to go for the top level, Charles York or comparable bespoke English furniture manufacturers can do the whole home, paneling, millwork, everything you need. And a lot of times in this category, you do the final coat of paint in the home. So to give it that real touch and feel of handmade and to take out all the little nicks and scratches. And this is really taking that traditional look to a higher level. And even with this, because this is more of a handmade traditional look and feel, even with this, if you go for something made in England, you can still have the hardware bells and whistles from Europe. Some trends. This is the final part of the presentation. So what's going on in the world of kitchens right now? Open shelves are humongous. Again, that silk lacquer with the inside is finished with the same finish as the outside. These are all silk lacquers because one, we're making kitchens that don't look like kitchens, right? We're hanging out in the kitchen. So this really looks more like a furniture, showcasing a collection or bookshelves, or as transitional pieces between the kitchen and the family room, dining room. So this is one way to do these open shelves. Another way are these floating shelves, which are very popular. And then you can have the backsplash behind it, make a big impact with the backsplash. Also in general, a lot of times with European kitchens, we're trying to make the design more open, more airy, so it doesn't seem too cluttered with a lot of wall cabinets. So that's another reason to use these floating wall shelves. And a lot of times, especially in the bigger kitchens, we don't realize it, but all the storage is in the base cabinets and tall cabinets because they're double the depth. So you may not even need that much wall cabinets, keep it all open. And this is another way to do open cabinets where it's basically a box. Again, it's finished on the inside. And instead of having a front, it's just open. Lighting, humongous trend right now. Of course, we've had the under cabinet lighting on the countertop for years. This is a great example that I always give comparing American and European. So if you're going to do this with an American manufacturer, American manufacturers, for some reason, they don't supply the cabinetry with the lighting, which means you have an engineering project because you need to determine which light fixture, which transformer, how the wires are going to be hidden, and how it's going to be grooved into it. And the manufacturer will just follow your specs, but you need to take responsibility. With European product, it's very plug and play. It comes already just as you see it with the low voltage wirings dangling to the back. You connect it to a switched outlet and you're done. And you can see also, again, innovation and technology, they can be applied even in very thin shelves, strip lighting or square lighting. Also, like I was saying, it's been going on for a long time. The above the counter, under cabinet lights, of course. And now LED lights are everywhere, above the cabinets, inside, in the grip rail, in the toe kick. So with that comes sophisticated lighting controls. We have phone apps that control the lights. And the nice innovation with LED lights, as of the last few years, you can control the temperature and you can dim them. That used to not be an option. Going back to what I was saying earlier with the under cabinet lights, there is something in American manufacturing called a light guard, which is basically a piece of molding right here below the wall cabinets. The only reason for a light guard is to hide the clutter, because a lot of times there's wires, there's tape holding it. It doesn't really look so pretty. So again, just a big distinction in manufacturing approach. Remember, I started the presentation with the slide away. It's very, very big. I would say 50% or more of the kitchens that we design, there is a desire for the slide away because it's so functional and it's so great. You can do coffee station, beverage center, home office, small appliances, whatever you want. When the doors slide away, they're out of the way. Add lighting, add outlets. This thing usually comes out. So it's a very, very functional work area. And then when you're done, you just close it and clutter free. You don't know what's behind it. One door slide away. This is actually great for small apartment sized kitchens where they don't have a separate laundry room. So this is 70 centimeter, designed to house the 60 centimeter stacked Miele washer dryer, and then pass through doors. Medium size American houses or bigger usually would have a pantry off to the back or the side of the kitchen. So this is the ultimate way to have a passage door, interior door between the kitchen and the pantry because it looks just like cabinetry. So we're doing a lot of these pass-through doors. Again, like I said in the beginning, organization is humongous. This is really a fashion statement. Every year, like I said, next year's collection, the hardware manufacturers are launching their new styles, new innovations, practical innovations. So, for instance, this you can take it out and use it to serve on the counter. You know, all these disassemble. And again, the cutlery divider is has always been around, but we're seeing the organization everywhere. Good old garbage pull out. You can count 5 different bins here. And another big trend are the backsplash organizers. It could be either a single rail hanging accessories with or without a back LED light or actual shelves. It's really great, especially in smaller kitchens, because not only does it look nice, you're also adding more usable functional storage area in the backsplash. Integrated hoods, this is more European style, although I think it is coming to the US slowly, where a hood is built directly into the ceiling. This we're seeing a lot more because remember I said the stone jobs or the man-made stone jobs are becoming more and more elaborate. So wrapping around the hood with stone, very nice. And this is almost a standard for us by now, where the hood is integrated into the cabinetry. Pretty much every small apartment size kitchens we do that. More electronics, more gadgetry. This is also pretty much a standard by now. The bifolding electric cabinet, you touch it, it opens up. You touch this little remote control button, it closes back down. Once again, more and more organizers. Really, this is unlimited, the world of organizational options in tall cabinets, all the drawers, deeper drawers. This, for instance, is exactly how it would look. You see the lighting, which is an option, lighting in the drawers, which are very cool. So such an accessory would come just like you see it with oak, these little functional, stylish, non-slip rubber little pegs. And this is also part of the accessory. These jars, it's a very European thing to fill the jars. I actually use it at home. It's very cool. So organizers, unlimited. These are the leading hardware manufacturers out of Europe. You probably know Hefele because they're a very active distributor in the US. Grass and Hettich, the market leaders in the best drawer technology out of Germany. Käseboomer, another German manufacturer. All the pull-out pantries are Käseboomers. Bloom, probably the biggest. They're out of Austria. They invented the slow shutting drawer years ago. Revashelf is the American market leader for all the wood organizers, another great company. Felice, you probably did not hear of, but they're the world leader in hinges out of Italy. Most of the hinges, like this is a Felice hinge, most of the good slow shutting hinges are Felice technology. Finally, some of my value engineering tricks. So obviously, I think I highlight this in presentation using laminates, not only instead of lacquers, but instead of any expensive finish. If you go with a flat door instead of a shaker style or any more elaborate style, you could save quite a bit. I mentioned this, not going all the way up to the ceiling. I'm sorry, I'm not doing wall cabinets at all. Or if you're going to do wall cabinets, if you don't close it with a crown molding or ceiling filler, you can save. This is something that I have in there is a red flag. It's not something that I recommend. If somebody is offering you a less expensive kitchen, but the base cabinets have just doors with shelves, I believe that nowadays it's just not fair. It's very bad value. You got to have the drawers and pull-outs and all the gadgets. You know, if somebody's already investing in a kitchen, it doesn't have to be too expensive, but definitely don't do kitchens without drawers. You can take this down, valuepremiumkitchens.com. This is like our wholesale division where we're making kitchens available to you at factory direct pricing. Saving on appliances, like I said, go for the premium instead of the established brands. The backsplash, it's not a law, it's not code. You don't have to have a backsplash, although everybody usually does. But if you can either paint the wall or do a laminate panel or even tile, or maybe just do the backsplash just behind the cooking area, you can save a good few $1,000s there. Some before and after always works, the good old before and after. Smaller kitchens are actually a lot more challenging to design, but that's one of our expertise. You know, we started in Manhattan. Europeans in general, the kitchens are smaller, so it's always fun to transform space with these smaller kitchens. White, still the #1 bestseller worldwide. Again, you can see how a handleless system would work in even a very small space. LED lights in the shelves. These are really tiny kitchens. These we do a lot of these small, medium-sized developments. You have a bunch of them also in Seattle. So this was a 10-unit building in Brooklyn. You see the wood grain laminate, and another big trend would be two-tone kitchens. So we do a lot of white and gray, white and brown, or maybe even three-tone. This is a three-tone kitchen. Again, I showed all apartment kitchens because that's a lot of times where the bigger challenge is. And especially if you have a galley kitchen, because everything is dictated to you, you can't really move things around. So to do a fabulous before and after in a galley, it's all about the bells and whistles. You see the real walnut, the LED lights. We managed to add another row of cabinets here. You see the accessories. So we didn't really move too much around, but it is a very nice transformation just using innovation and features. Of course, in a house, you have a lot more design options. You see the transition of the open shelves from the kitchen to the family room. What's happening to us a lot, and I wish it upon you, I hope it'll happen to you more, is we start with the kitchen, and our clients would say, okay, we'll splurge on European kitchen. That's where the budget is, but everything else will go local or less expensive. We end up doing the entire home because we have so many options, so many price options that it doesn't even necessarily have to be more expensive. So, you know, that's always nice to do an entire home. These are our locations around the country. And that was my screen share. I see that there might be a question here on the, oh, we need to wrap up. I think I'm done with time. I don't know if I have any time for questions. I guess the Seattle Design Center will stop me when my time is up. And I don't know, staff from Janet there, if you want to open it up for questions or not. Meanwhile, I can share with you a few words about GKC. We're the only national kitchen showroom chain. Our value proposition in terms of product is that we can always offer you either higher level product for a comparable price or a better price for a comparable product. There's a question here, if the company is available in Canada. Yes, worldwide. We work worldwide. Thank you, Michael. And our system, as far as I know, and I think I know the industry pretty well, we're the only company that works this way. We have a lot of technology behind us. And, you know, if you're ordering kitchen from Europe or any kitchen, it's always about minimizing error. So we have that because we go through 3 rounds of order processing. And that's what it's all about. And, you know, people love us because of, we have a great combination between being a larger company that gives you peace of mind and being small enough that we're still family run. Like I said, I started the company. I'm the owner. I work with my wife, with my mom. We're very available, very hands-on. So you kind of have the best of both worlds, the advantage of the resources of a larger company and the peace of mind, but still accessibility, just like a small single owner-operated showroom. Hello's from Romania. Hi. Yes, I'm actually from my mom's side. I'm half Romanian. Romanian is Israeli. I'm originally Israeli. Those of you that detected my accent. What is an average kitchen budget for German kitchens? If you want, you can contact me. I'm going to put, this is my cell phone, and I'm happy to walk you through any questions that you have. And I can teach you, because we're out of time, how to come up with a budget. I think it's a very useful tool based on linear footage. And if you do it right, you always come up with the correct range. I very, very rarely have failed. I'm pretty good at it, pretty accurate. What we say is that with our premium service, the cabinetry starts at $20,000. And with our value premium service, there is no minimum. Value premium is the best pricing of European kitchens in America. And the 20K minimum, of course, it's very, very vague because it depends on all the options, depends on the finish, depends on the size. So to get more detailed, it's better to use the per linear foot range. And the per linear foot, I keep talking until they stop me, I guess. Usually, the premium European brands have always been north of 1500. Maybe they can adjust to 1200. Our power is that we can get you leicht, which is comparable to anyone, any manufacturer or better, starting at $900 a linear foot. And then our value premium category, which is a German manufacturer, Italian manufacturer, starts at $600 a linear foot. That's like Canyon Creek semi-custom level. So that's how we're really breaking the market, you know, with that kind of a price point. Thank you, Seattle Design Center. Thank you.
And thank you so much. Thank you everyone that joined us, and we would be happy anytime to do a follow-up webinar or a webinar on another topic that you want to discuss. Do people know how to get that CEU credit if they wanted to from you?
Just email me, because there's like a paperwork, you know, like form, I think, that we need to fill out for you.
Right. So that, and anyone can contact, just go to the Seattle Design Center website and look for German Kitchen Showroom. And we will have all the information there on how to get in touch with you if needed. But thank you so much for a great presentation. That was awesome. We loved it. Super interesting. Love the photos, and we hope to see everyone soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.
You too. Thanks so much, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.